Hello, everybody. Keaton Gillogly with you, and today we get to chat with one of the original Beef Boys, Cal Raleigh. Cal, how we doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see another familiar face. Where you hold up right now during the shutdown?
Back home right now in Cullowhee, North Carolina. Just with the family, trying to stay busy.
Yeah, what's your quarantine routine been like?
It's trying to find new ways to stay busy, trying to find things to do without kind of getting on a lull. Try to lift in the mornings, afternoons going to hit, throw. Try to bring my brother along with me, my cousin's with me too right now. And then do any kind of odd jobs around the house when I have free time, and which I have a lot of, and kind of just working for my dad. So.
How much working out are you able to do? I mean, what type of resources do you have with you right now?
Yeah, I've been able to muster together a bunch of weights, and I'm kind of got lucky because there's a university right across the street, and I was able to grab some of their stuff. They let me borrow, and then my old high school let me borrow a few things. So I've kind of mustered together some free weights, a squat rack, and a bar, and I've got a lot of good things here. So.
And Cullowhee coming together to try to keep you beefy during this time?
Yeah, they know all about it, so they're trying to help out. So.
How's the swing right now? I mean, you can't go out and see live pitching the way you normally would. How is it trying to maintain your swing during the shutdown right now?
Yeah, it's just like a second off season basically. Trying to work on keeping my swing short, trying to stay consistent. Obviously can't see live ABs right now, but just do your drills, stay with your things you usually do during the off season, and try to keep your swing short and sweet.
How was this last off season for you? I mean, it was your first full pro year, so once that season ended, how did the body feel?
Body's a little tired, not gonna lie. Never played that many games in 1 year, but I was relatively pleased with the season I had. I think I could have done some things better, but I was happy the way things went, and I was looking forward to starting this season up and try to get better and all that. But unfortunately, COVID hit. But body feels a lot better now. Staying in shape. Everything's good.
What were some of the things you did in the off season that were maybe different to try to get you ready for this season to be able to take that wear and tear for the full 5-6 months?
Yeah, I did a little more. First thing I would say is I waited a little bit longer to start lifting. I gave my body a little more time to rest. I just wanted to get back to full strength to where I can kind of start from ground zero and work my way back up. Last off season, for my first off season, I played short season. I kind of got right back into it right away, which I learned. I got to give my body a little rest. So that was the biggest thing, and then did a little more agility stuff this off season, just for trying to keep my feet under me and trying to be ready to go for spring training.
So what was hotter, the Modesto sun or that Arkansas sun?
So we've actually had this argument a lot amongst players. So from my side, I say the Arkansas is way worse because the humidity just kills you, and plus Arkansas, you're right. And if you've ever been in the stadium, it's in a pit. There's no airflow, and the humidity is just a lot worse than in Modesto. Modesto, the sun probably shines a little brighter, but definitely not near as grueling.
Jordan Cowan, who I talked to earlier today, also said the same thing. He agrees Arkansas is worse than Modesto for the heat.
Oh yeah, it was. I tell you what, it was. I'd have to take 2 pair of pants to the dugout with me every game, and about 3 pairs of batting gloves because I would sweat right through everything. If I could take another top with me, I would, but we didn't have everybody only had one jersey, so it was bad. You had to like wring your clothes out after games. It was hot.
You guys are gonna have to do
Really
like a mid-game uniform change. All right, guys, I'm catching today, so I get to decide what we're wearing for the second half of the game when the starter comes out.
hot. I know that's what we need. We need honestly, we need to do that. We need to, first half in the whites, second half in the camo, whatever jersey we're wearing. We need to have two separate ones every fourth inning.
Well, I want to talk about the end of that season. You guys had that run into the postseason, a lot of excitement going into that postseason run with the Travelers, but comes up short against Tulsa. And then, one of the great stories in Mariners minor league recent history was the quadruple call-up after that. What was it like sitting in that clubhouse after the loss to the Drillers and then seeing four of your teammates get the call to the show?
It was really very sad after the loss. You worked hard all year and you made it all the way to the playoffs, and to see your season kind of go like that, especially with a close game, it definitely didn't feel good. And it's sad too because you're gonna be leaving everybody. I've been with some of those guys for 10 straight months, going all the way into early workouts and everything. So it was kind of sad, but then to see guys like Donovan Walton get the call up, Art Warren, that was really cool. It kind of gave me chills, especially when Donnie got the call. He's a great guy. He took me under his wing and kind of helped me out there at the end of the season. But he was awesome, and seeing his reaction and for how hard he works, it was just great to see.
You said Walton took you under his wing a little bit. What were some of the things he was telling you toward that end of the season?
Yeah, he was just, he would help me anytime like I had questions. I felt like I felt like that was the leader of the team. There's a few guys on the team, Evan White too. Were guys that I was like, all right, these are the guys right here who've been here all year. It's their team. They're ready. But Donnie would be great. If I was struggling at the plate or if I had a question about anything as far as routine goes. I love the way he prepares and goes into games and his mindset, and I think we see things very similarly. So it was really fun to get to know him and talk to him about that stuff.
So before we get into the Modesto time, I want to talk about when you first got up to Arkansas. You were coming from a place where you had a lot of voice in the Modesto clubhouse. You were with pitchers you had been with all year, so you'd been able to kind of, work with them, and you knew a lot of those opposing hitters as well because you'd seen them so often. When you got to Arkansas, how did things change for you a little bit? I mean, did you still feel like you had enough confidence to say, hey, I want to do this or I want to do that? Or were you a little more deferential and listening a little bit more to what the pitchers were saying while they were up there already?
Yeah, no, just two different locker rooms. They're both great, but just different mindsets. I enjoyed both places a lot. But it was different coming into a new team, especially I've never been moved up before, so I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know, what their routines were, what they like to do. So there was a little bit of a learning curve there, but there was no time where I was ever, doubting myself or thinking, I need to take a step back and let them. No, as a catcher, you need to, be running the show, and you need to have confidence in what you're doing and, what you prepared for. And that was never out of the question. But there's definitely a learning curve when I got there, especially for those first couple of weeks.
Yeah, give us a feel for how much time and mental effort it takes to learn a whole new league. I mean, like we said in the Cal League, you had the chance to see a lot of these guys hit live already. So what was it like learning an entire new league at that point in the season?
Yeah, it was it gave me a new challenge, which I enjoyed. In the Cal League, I felt like playing San Jose and Stockton and Visalia every week. It was like, all right, I know these guys like the back of my hand. Guys like Ramos from San Jose or McCarthy from Visalia. I felt like it was almost on repetition. Facing those guys, you know how to get them out. Then they're making adjustments on you, and then vice versa. But it was good to go into Texas League and learn new faces, learn new pitchers, kind of, keep learning, keep going, and keep challenging yourself, which I think I did. And I had some great help too. Joe Odom helped me a lot when I got there. Coaching staff. It was a good experience.
One of the things that I've heard a lot of people talk about your game is the receiving end. Just receiving the baseball behind the plate. Where did you start developing that skill? Like when did you feel like you started to get good at that?
Well, there's a lot of knock on me coming into pro ball that I couldn't catch, and that I was too big, or I was too slow, or I didn't have the hands for it, or etc. Really feel like my has always been pretty good. Me and my dad, he's a catcher growing up. We always did catching drills, and we were always working on receiving, always working on catching. I feel like my receiving has never really been bad, and I feel like that was a knock where I just didn't understand. But I've worked on it tremendously ever since I got the pro ball. Tony Arnerich, Dan Wilson, guys like that, and the catching side of it have been awesome. And we've talked about stances, moving the ball, different movements, things, all that stuff, and it's been awesome. Just kind of creating a crowd.
And I feel like that's something that's always been a strong suit for me as far as receiving goes.
So, are you somebody then would you ever want to see robot umpires in the game?
No, I would never. I've had this conversation too with some guys. I would never want to see robot guys. I think that would ruin the game. I think guys would get too mad. I've seen some of the calls they made, and there's just some of those pitches that are just almost impossible to hit that they're calling strikes. And it's just, if it goes to that, then it wouldn't be very fun. And I think it would be a lot of backlash would come from it.
At the minor league level, the umpires are working their way up too, like everybody else is. But you had a chance to hang out in the clubhouse up in Seattle a little bit, toward the end of last year. How good are those major league umpires on a nightly basis behind the plate?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Got to get to know some of them this year with a little more playing time in spring training. Got to see them last year at the end of the season in Seattle. They're really good at what they do. They're kind of like major league players. Are the best at what they do, and there's a reason they're there. They're very consistent, but every guy has their thing. Some guys will give you a little more on one side of the plate, some guys won't. So there's always umpires are always going to have kind of scouting reports per se, kind of like players. They're always going to have little things about them where they see something a little different than another umpire sees it. So it's our job to know that and to try to find that niche.
So, what was that experience like getting up and hanging out in Seattle a little bit last year? I mean, that's such a unique situation where, like, okay, you can chill, but we're going to have you come up and hang out in the clubhouse and talk to some of the guys. What was the experience like in September in Seattle last year?
It was awesome. Getting to go in with Logan and Evan, two great guys to go with. It was really cool. I felt kind of awkward at first. I didn't want to go in and step on any toes or, try to, overstep my boundaries or anything like that. But it was really good. Get to sit in on the meetings, the catchers meetings, pitchers meetings, hitters meetings. It was really fun getting to learn that side of it and know what goes on up there. It was a really cool experience. I'm glad that I got the invite, and I thought that was a really cool thing for them to do. And, I'm very grateful they did that.
Yeah, you do a lot of the preparation for these games and for the hitters and all that stuff already. So when you got there and you were watching the way they were preparing, how many things were they doing differently than what you were doing on a day-to-day basis in the minor leagues?
Yeah, I mean, when it came down to it, it was just baseball. I would say that there was the same thing in a way. They had a little more advanced scouting metrics, I guess, from that side of it, as far as they had guys that was their whole job was, getting scouting reports ready, getting that side of the game ready for the players, and then in their hands each game day. So it was kind of cool to see how much more advanced it was, and how they went about it.
All right, let's get into your time in Modesto during the 2019 season. And when you first got there on the offensive end, it was a little shaky of a start before that big tear. What do you remember about those first 2 months offensively at the plate, day in and day out?
Yeah, I just remember it was kind of it was kind of up and down. Not a whole lot of consistency. It was kind of like it's almost like surviving at the plate. Battling, a lot of that, a lot of trying to find that feel, trying to find that that feel that you're looking for when you're about to go on a tear or when you're feeling good. And there'd be some games where I have it, some games that don't. Some good at bats, some bad at bats, but I think that was good for me looking back. Just kind of understanding, what a routine does for you, what the important things are, especially early in the season. Realizing not to hit the panic button, etc., all that kind of stuff, and it was good for me to kind of go through that and try to find that feel.
Well, you certainly found it when you hit that stretch of the second half. I mean, how did you find it? Was it the physical adjustment? Was it mental adjustment? How did you find that feel?
Yeah, I the whole season I've been talking, obviously my dad and my uncle are big, hitting guys I've listened to my whole life. They've helped me greatly, and they stuck with me, which was great. And then obviously Jose Umbria, our hitting coach, was great all season too. He's a great guy, great coach. And then, one day just Denny Hocking brought me into his office and was like, I don't think you're reaching your full potential. And I totally agreed with him. And I was like, I'm keep going in and out. I have a few good games, a few bad games, just not consistent. And, he just told me like one little thing, one little mindset change, and it wasn't anything with my swing. And, I think that was part of the reason was, looking back on, the season and the grind, guys kind of get too much on their swing and think about physical adjustments and all that stuff, where I think, if you get drafted, you typically have something good going for you. You have, good swing, or, you do something well. But, and that's, he kind of told me, he's like, hey, you have a good swing. It's not your swing. It's, you just got to get ready to hit, and you got to be in a good position to hit. And I was like, I kind of, took it, and I was like, it makes sense. I'll try it out, work in the cage. So we went to the cage together, we worked on it. And, there's a few things that he had me doing, a couple drills. And, like I said, it had nothing to do with ever my swing. I was like, I kind of like this. I don't have to think about my swing as much. All I have to do is, mentally get ready to hit. And, that was something, I think he learned over a 10-plus major league career. And, he was a super smart guy, one of the best baseball minds I've ever been around. And so it was like one little adjustment. And, I took into the game, and first thing I do is I go back to my old way. Wasn't ready to hit, was a little cue for us. And then I looked at him over at third base, and he kind of had his hands on his hips, and he was kind of gave me the look like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it makes sense. I got to make that adjustment. So ever since that point in time, we were working on it together, and, him and Umbria, our hitting coach, and they did a really good job with me, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun for you and your teammates and myself and Nuts Nation as you went through that second half. I mean, look, people don't put together those kind of stretches. I mean, July alone, while you're in Modesto, was 9 home runs in 12 games. Like, you're never going to do that again. Nobody's going to ever do that again. What was it like day in and day out when you're coming back into the dugout and you just had another multi-homer game? I mean, what were your teammates' reactions while you were on that run?
I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like a blur. You kind of just like blacked out a little bit. The whole time I wasn't really – it was a very free, relaxing time, and I was really enjoying myself. I think what also helped too is we started playing better as a team. We started winning, whereas kind of like before we were kind of inconsistent. It's kind of like me at the plate a little bit. We were a little more inconsistent. We win a few, we lose a few, and then we just could never find it. And I felt like during that time we kind of came together, as a group, and we really put together a good stretch there. And, things were just clicking. I think that's why baseball is one of the greatest games out there is, things can go so right. And things were just going well for everyone. I think, I was just seeing the ball. It looked like a beach ball, honestly. I mean, it's just one of those moments where some guys go through those stretches. So,
which did you have any superstitions during that run or no?
Oh, I did. I had to think back a little bit. I think I kept wearing the same sliders. I mean, I washed them, of course, but I think I wore the same sliders every game. I think I tried to wear almost the exact same uniform every game. I don't really know. I remember I'd do the same drills every single day, hitting drills. Trying to think what else. I don't think there's anything crazy like that, but I just remember the drills and working on that stuff every single day, and it got me in the zone and had me going well.
I feel like you were wearing the stirrup socks a little bit more during that stretch too than in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I remember there was like some striped ones that I rocked. There's some different ones that I had going in there. I think Umbria gave me a few of his socks to try, and I think I was wearing his striped ones there for a while, which was good.
Was there a particular home run or a particular moment from that stretch that really sticks out in your mind?
Right when I started, we were in Visalia. The grand slam to put us. Were we down 1 or something? I think
Something like that.
We're down 1 or 2 runs, and I was down to 0-2 count, and that's when I kind of, early that game, I think, or the game before I hit a home run, and that's when I started that. I started that streak there. When I was working with Denny, he's telling me get ready to hit, and what other time to try to commit to a plan than 0-2, down 2 runs, bases loaded, bottom of the 9th or top of the 9th. But I stuck to my plan there, like he said, and he hung one and I got one out, and I feel like that was a good turning point. We won that game. I think we won a few more after that. Like I said, it was a lot more fun after that. It was a lot more relaxing. It was a good time.
Yeah, that was the I just pulled up my box score here. It was an 11-7 win on Sunday, June 23rd. You guys were down going into the 8th. You score a run in the 8th inning on an RBI single by you, and then the grand slam of the 9th after you guys got a bunch of walks from Brecken Williams and Kyler Stout.
Yeah, that was right.
That
was a good one.
Yeah, and that was it. A couple other guys have mentioned that one, that grand slam home run in the 9th inning of that game. As like one of their best memories of that season. That was the start. That was it. That was right there at the beginning.
It was a lot of fun. It was fun too because we beat Visalia. I didn't like Visalia very much, but I've never. They were really good last year, I remember, and they were kind of beating up on us earlier that year. And then I think after that, I felt like even when we played them at our place and went back there, I feel like at least when I was there, we were competing a lot better with them. We weren't really kind of, we might lose this game, we might win. We just hope to kind of play a good game. I felt like we were actually competing and beating them and starting to show something there.
Well, after you left, the guys got the walk-off suicide squeeze against them, so I know that was very satisfying with Caballero scoring the winning run.
I saw that one. I really enjoyed seeing that, especially against them.
Well, Denny told a great story on that too. You'll like this, that he made that decision in the dugout before that next inning. He was like, if I get to this situation, we're going to do it. I'm not going to give you a sign. And they did it.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me, especially with Denny. He's, like I said, he's a great baseball mind. There's been very few guys that I've been around that, thinks like that, thinks ahead of the game, can say the right things, has that much feel. I really enjoyed getting to play for him last year. He was awesome to be around, and somebody that I trust and will definitely try to talk to the rest of my career.
That clubhouse was so relaxed and free throughout the season. What do you remember about just the clubhouse vibe that Denny was able to set last year at Modesto?
That was an interesting group. That was really funny. We had so many characters in that clubhouse, especially that bullpen with our pitching coach Rob Marcello. They were a bunch of characters, to say the least. But with Denny leading the way and kind of setting an example for us, it was a lot of fun. Everybody was having tons of fun all year long. Even if we were losing, we were still enjoying coming to the clubhouse. And then obviously when things started rolling a little bit better, we started winning, things were just, clicking on all cylinders, and it made showing up to the field a blast. It didn't feel like a job. It felt like, this is something I want to do. This is something, I enjoy doing, coming to the field every day, getting to play for Skip, even be on Rob and Bria. Everybody was, great energy and, very fun to be around.
What do you remember about your last day or so in Modesto, particularly that last bullpen session you and Logan were able to have before the call-up?
Yeah, I remember it. I can't remember what exactly happened. I think we had like a field day with some kids there at the field, and I remember it, and it was a lot of fun getting to be around. It was like me, Rob, and Logan, just kind of, having fun, getting his work done, talking, kind of arguing back and forth, doing it very fun, and it was a lot of fun, especially do it one last time with Rob there and kind of that Modesto setting, which, came to be a really cool place for me.
I feel like you and Rob and Logan were always bickering about something. Is that right?
We were always going back and forth with each other. That sounds – and then Rob would he'd pick and choose sides. He'd take my side one day. One day he'd get on Logan's side and try to pester me. Or some days he would just be above us all and just try to make both of us angry.
Sounds like a really good coach.
He was awesome. He's fun to be around. And the great thing about him is, he always told it how it is. He's never gonna sugarcoat anything, or, he's never gonna, lie to you or lead you down the wrong road. He was a lot of fun, very honest, very straight to the point, and a lot of fun to learn from.
He was very gruff and sharp, like you said. Did you feel like that, rubbed any guys the wrong way, or were they taking it from a place of, well, he's trying to help me get better?
Well, at first, he probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Especially, you get guys that have, been doing something their whole life one way, throwing one way, doing a certain, whatever it may be, one way. And, he comes in and says, hey, you're doing this wrong. You need to completely change. And, he'd say it in a much more different tone, but
a few more profanities, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that some guys can take that the wrong way, and that can get on some skins, and but I think after a while, people started to realize that he cared, and he wasn't just trying to be mean about it, or trying to be whatever, trying to be like he knows it all. That he actually cared, and he would he'd go with guys on off days, 2 hours before a game, 6 hours before a game, he'd be out there with those guys working on, certain things that they want to get better at. And, I think he brought a good energy to the clubhouse, try to get better every single day. And I think with him doing that, it made him get close to a lot of guys and, helped a lot of guys out as well.
One of the guys who made one of the great transformations during last year was Ian McKinney, and he did enough to win California League Pitcher of the Year in 2019. The adjustment was a story we told on the air plenty, moved over on the pitching rubber a little bit, and it created some more ride on his fastball. But from behind the plate, working with Ian, how much different did his stuff look after that adjustment in the middle of the year?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. Me and Rob and Ian were kind of bumping heads there at the beginning of the year. We were not big fans of each other. And, I think that just comes with, playing with each other and kind of getting to know each other, starting to trust one another. And, I think right away, Rob and Ian weren't really on the same page. And then there's me. I wasn't really on the same page with either one of them. And, had some rough starts there early in the year. And, I think he realized, he had to do something, he had to change. And, he's like, I need to fix some stuff. And credit to him, he went out there and he had a great attitude about it. And him and Rob became really close. They were working really hard. And, I enjoyed getting to kind of learn from both of them, what they were trying to accomplish and things they were doing well and what he didn't do as well. But Ian did a great job last year. I'm so happy for him, especially coming from the Cardinals. I think he got released.
Mm-hmm.
I had a second opportunity with the Mariners. And anytime somebody can do that, I give a lot of credit to him. It's not easy to do that. And it was really, really great to see him do well.
From a pure nuts and bolts standpoint, I mean, how much more did his stuff play up on the mound after that adjustment?
Yeah, it was almost night and day. It was amazing. I'd say if there's one guy that probably benefited most from Rob, it might probably be Ian. There's a lot of guys that benefited. But I think that clubhouse and the guys that were around him, Rob, Denny, I think everything just kind of meshed together, came together for him, and things started looking really good for him. He started doing really well. But from a stuff standpoint, I think he always had the stuff in there. I think he wasn't using it correctly, mentally, but he started putting it together and kind of, mentally, physically, everything kind of meshed, and he had a really good year.
Were you in that bullpen when they made the adjustment, or was somebody else catching that pen?
I don't think there was a one point where they came together like that. I think it was kind of over time. He was constantly always working on something, and I think that's awesome because you see guys get tired towards the end of the season. They don't want to work on stuff. They want to kind of take it easy. But Ian was always trying to work on something. He's always trying to get better. So I think as the season went on, he got stronger, and I think that's part of how everything went down. He he kept getting better and better each outing and each bullpen. So.
Well, cool, man. This has really been a lot of fun, and it's been fun catching up. And yeah, hopefully we get to see some more Beef Boy bombs in real life soon. I mean, it's been so long.
I know. I miss it. But hopefully, come to an agreement. Get everything rolling here soon. Be looking forward to it.
You too, man. Well, stay safe and stay healthy, and hopefully we'll see you back out on the field here soon.
Appreciate it.
John Thurman Field.